in the schedule. Let me just introduce you, Yusuf, and then you can present your presentation. So Mr. Yusuf Joshkun is a marketing executive apprentice at the BBC Studios, working with the kids and family team to promote campaigns and content around the cartoon kids show, Bluey. Yusuf, when you're ready, you could present.
Thank you so much, Ari, for that introduction. Let me just quickly get my presentation up. Can you guys all hear me fine?
Yes, we can hear you. Have you shared your screen?
I'm sharing right now. If you just give me a second. So I just wanted this to be like a relaxed Q&A sort of session, guys. But feel free to ask me questions as well at the end if I don't cover anything. But like I'll be covered already. So yeah, I work in BBC Studios as a marketing executive apprentice. And I was just going to dedicate some time talking through apprenticeships in general, rather than the university life to get into the media industry. But to give you some sort of background on what I did myself, so my course is a marketing executive level 4 to 5 apprenticeship course, and its duration is 1.5 years. And at the end, I'm going to receive a CIM marketing qualification from this, including media as well. So quickly, just to talk about a bit about my day-to-day, what I do since joining the BBC Studios day-to-day. So anything from managing social media accounts to web and SEO analysis to YouTube management. There is also a lot of daily reporting, so stats and metrics on how content performs involved. So to be specific again, like Arby said, to reiterate, I work in Bluey and the kids and family department specifically. So it's a lot of kids content, a lot of children's TV stuff, and a lot of campaigns going around that. I don't know if any of you guys heard of Bluey, an Australian kids show. So moving on to some challenging aspects to joining and doing an apprenticeships in general. So I would say the most challenging thing would be to get into that routine while being young. So I don't think it's very spoken about, and even if it's spoken about, apprenticeships are more deemed as being easier than university. But I can like openly say that being in routine while you're that young is quite challenging, balancing that social life, going out with your friends, a lot of stuff you have to do after 5 p.m. after your work actually ends. And with that comes some limitations to your social life, obviously. But I would say again, if you are good at balancing this earlier on, doing any stuff that you like doing on the weekends is a good way of managing this. And along with getting across learning some of your necessary tools and softwares before getting into the media and broadcasting industry is very important. Some examples I can give are probably Photoshop to begin with, and Premiere Pro for video editing. If you know these tools, even the basics, just before getting into the industry, I would say you already got the biggest head start, guys. And this was a mistake that I did, not knowing too much of these two tools before getting in. I had to quickly learn it afterwards. But if you do know these, like I said, perfect start already. In terms of educational and background required to be in the media industry as an apprentice. So again, this does depend on the level of the apprenticeship. So I'm doing a level 4 to 5, which is equivalent to the first 2 years of doing uni. I came out straight from sixth form. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a level 6 or above, or I wanted to learn the basics first before getting in. But depending on what level you are doing, like I said, a GCSE or an A level, so a level 2 or 3 might be required. If you are applying to a master's level, a degree apprenticeship, you will need a level 6, at least for most job prospects. In terms of which GCSEs and A levels are best to do to get into the industry, I can say it doesn't necessarily matter, guys. Honestly, like no matter what you do, you can shift to media quite easily afterwards. But doing media as an A level or a GCSE can give you that head start. Also, business and IT can give you some information ahead of joining. in terms of some career pathways, so most typically the apprenticeship can lead you to become a media or digital executive in terms of whatever your company, and that can differ. In BBC Studios, you technically become a media executive, which can then move on to becoming a senior media executive and whatnot, unless you want to switch departments. There are also great opportunities to move into consumer marketing, guys, from media, along with design and tech, or even business and finance, if you do learn your stats and all of that correctly. You can also choose to commit to a higher level apprenticeship. So if you did a level 5, a level 6 like me, you can then focus on joining a level 7 apprenticeships and getting that master's degree by adding a couple of extra years to your overall journey. Moving on to some extracurricular activities. I don't think this is, again, spoken about enough to become proactive while you have the time to do so. Any sort of work experience, nothing in specific, voluntary work, part-time work will give you that extra bit of knowledge to speak about, not just in your interview, but once you actually do get the place as well. And like I said, it's never too late to become proactive when you're doing your A-levels while you have that time. Just look out for all those opportunities, and whatever it is, no matter how long it takes, even if it's as short as a couple of days, just take it, guys. Be proactive. Opportunities for remote and flexible schedules in the industry. So the industry has more or less moved on to, like I said, flexible ways of working. So that means like 2 or 3 days in the office currently for most companies. I do 3 days in the office currently over at Shepherd's Bush. But like I said, flexibility is also big currently. So if you are based quite far away from the office, this can be way less, and you can always speak to your managers about not being in the office as much. So that's not a worry at all. So the importance of continuously upskilling yourself after you get the place as well. This is something that I'm maybe currently lacking on as well. It's very important, guys, to keep adding stuff to your CV after getting the place. Those are the type of stuff that will push you onto senior roles while being young. I have people in my office currently who are 23, 24 years old, while working on those senior roles, so getting paid over 60,000 a year, while having only a year or two, um, experience in the industry. So it's always really important to be proactive, go to those events that you can find, constantly take courses on your own time. After you do get the job, speak to your managers about, what opportunities there are within the business. Is more or less endless. Like I said, some opportunities will be provided after you do get the job as well, so you don't need to do as much, but like I said, continue chasing yourself. And lastly, my advice on entering the industry as an apprentice as well. So just make sure you follow the media industry and current news that are happening around the world, not just in media. Ahead of joining, it will give you those topics of discussion at your interview. I will say it made it so much easier for me to actually get the job, knowing what is going on in the industry. Again, to reiterate, be proactive and make use of all that free time. I can't, stress this enough. Doing that voluntary extra bit and bobs during your A-levels is so important in getting you the place in the industry. You can also do an apprenticeship after completing your uni course as well. So it's not just for school leavers. After you finish your uni course and get your level 6, you can opt out to do a level 7 apprenticeship, which will take roughly around 3 years, and you will be getting paid over 30K in salary. Again, that can change. That can be way more depending on the company you work for, but that is also a great option to grab that, master's degree without having to go to uni and all of that stress. And also learn to be organized, guys. So there's a lot of uni work happening while you're also committing to the office life. So I would say learning to be organized ahead of joining will help you so much in terms of dedicating that, all the academic essay sort of stuff, and then making also time for your office work and making sure that all is completed on time. Again, you will have lots of opportunities to discuss with your managers and your mentors around how you can manage this all better, but they do give you the options to a more flexible way of working anyway, knowing that you are young in the industry. But again, like I said, be organized, learn that ahead of joining. And I think this brings me to the end, guys. I know short and sweet, just Q&A sort of style. You can add me on my LinkedIn. I'm currently interviewing one of the interviewers that work for BBC Studios. So I do have a lot of interview tips coming up. If you guys are curious, Mr. Isanabi can also share my number around. But yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn for more niche questions. I know you guys might have a lot more than this, but yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, that's been great, Yusuf. A lot of important information. I love the PowerPoint as well. I mean, if you could send that across to us, and we could share it with the others if that's okay.
Of course,
And you did it great on time, to be honest. We started late but finished early, so
perfect. That's what I
thank you very
wanted.
much for that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's really interesting. I'm just thinking if I've got any questions that I could ask you in the 3 minutes that we do have.
Of course.
So, do you use a lot of softwares in your current job? Is it a lot of softwares you use, or I mean, for viewing,
Yes.
or is it a lot of like communication and writing essays, or what does it entail the job right now?
So it's a lot of it's a mixture actually. So in terms of the apprenticeships or the uni side of things, there's a lot of essays going on, and I would say the most basic software we use for that is a Word document. So I'm pretty sure everyone here already knows how to use that. But in terms of the office life, so stuff like I said, Photoshop and Premiere Pro for photo and video editing are critical in the job, guys. So like making sure you know all the basics at least before joining will give you that head start. Just to reiterate, I'm just thinking, and some project management tools as well. This will differ depending on the company you work for, but we currently use a tool called Monday.com, which essentially help us as young media professionals on tracking all of our tasks and making sure we assign the correct stakeholder to each individual task. So if you do have the time to do so, learning some project management tools would be really efficient ahead of joining the industry.
Okay, perfect.